Well, thank you very much for this great honor. This is an evening filled with humility to get to be in a room with so many great leaders, people that both Adam and I have looked up to over the years. It gives us real-time chills. I know that it may not seem as if diversity was a consideration in the awards given here between Adam and I, but I see it. You clearly gave an award to Adam because he's the young one, and you gave an award to me because I'm the handsome one. I've heard a lot of reflection this evening on Eleanor Roosevelt, and her place is undisputed in the legacy of the United Nations, but of course the vision initially comes from Woodrow Wilson, who gave a famous speech before the United States Congress in which he challenged America to accept the idea that nations joined together could construct a set of laws and a set of incentives to make war a last resort. And as I was thinking about the one thing that I wanted to communicate here tonight in accepting this immense honor, it's this. I've thought a lot about a hearing that we had in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about a month back. It was a hearing on U.S. strategy towards ISIS. And John Kerry was testifying. He was the sole witness, the head American diplomat, testifying before the committee of the United States Senate that has jurisdiction over diplomacy in the world. And yet, over the course of about 3 hours, 90% of the questions that he got were on military policy and on military strategy. Only 2 or 3 questions the entire time were dedicated to questions of political reconciliation in Syria and Iraq. And it speaks to the immense challenge that we still have as a nation, especially after 10 years of war, to understand all of the prerequisites necessary in order to fulfill the mandate of the United Nations, create a system of alliances and laws and incentives so that war is the last resort. And maybe we're not going to get to a day in which we have equal distribution between the resources at the State Department and the resources at the Department of Defense, but maybe the ratio that we have today of 5-to-1 is not the right one if we really want to live up to the challenge that Eleanor Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson gave this great nation. I just came from Pristina, Kosovo, in which I saw the work that the United Nations has done. They're arguing today, as we speak, over the formation of a new government. But they're arguing with words rather than bullets. They've come an immense way in a short period of time because of the resources and the genius of the people in this room. I have a feeling that you've given this award tonight to Adam and I, and by the way, because of our mutual interest in representing America's role in the world, because we're big believers in Article 1, and the power given to the Congress to set foreign policy, we've become good friends. I think you've given this award to us not necessarily because of what we have done as relatively junior members in the House and the Senate, but because of what you may hope that we will do. Unfortunately, there is a winnowing group of members of Congress who believe that part of our job description is to be out there in the world, not just representing our nation's interests, but sharing with the executive the responsibility to set policy along the lines of what has been made a priority by the people here today. Well, Adam and I may come out in different places on specific policy issues. We take the challenge and the charge of this great honor tonight seriously as we seek to make sure that members of Congress understand their responsibility to be partners with all of you in the work to make this world a more peaceful and better place. Thank you very much for this great honor.
Good, more politicians speaking. I just want to say it really is an honor to be up here with Chris. As he mentioned, we actually are very good friends. And to me, it was kind of ironic because it shows, you have a member of the House, a member of the Senate, a Republican, a Democrat, that are able to put our differences aside politically, and we have plenty of them, and we could probably sit down and talk about them for a while, and come together and find areas of mutual agreement. And I think that's kind of interesting because that's the area, yeah, we need more of that, right? I'll take it back to Washington, don't worry. But that's what the UN represents. It represents a body that brings a lot of people together that have very different worldviews, very different interests, and tries to find common ground. You know, as was mentioned in my intro, I just about a year ago now went to Liberia with the UN Foundation. And a shout out to Micah with the UN Foundation that did a very good job on that trip. I just want to say this. The challenges that I saw in Liberia were mind-blowing. The lack of infrastructure, but the fertile land that could produce a lot of great agriculture, but yet the infrastructure was not there to do it. And I saw a generation of people that were torn up by civil war, and the generation that today should be teaching the youth that doesn't even know how to read and write. And I saw massive challenges, but I see the United Nations taking those challenges head on, despite in many cases, many areas of hopelessness. I recently, 2 weeks ago, got back from Iraq and saw the refugee camps there and was on the border of Syria and saw the great work that the United Nations is doing in delivering aid. I think now today of what Liberia must look like compared to what I saw a year ago before the outbreak of Ebola. The work of the UN is even more important today, as many of these brave UN workers and now 3,000 American military are going in to try to stop this disastrous disease. You know, there was a lot of talk in the 20th century about the Iron Curtain, and the Iron Curtain, at least unfortunately, maybe just temporarily, was lifted from Eastern Europe. But I believe there's a lot more Iron Curtains that exist today. The Iron Curtain of terror, the Iron Curtain of innocents being killed for an ideology, the Iron Curtain of poverty and hopelessness, and then the Iron Curtain of inequality. A whole section of the world that believes that, or of an ideology that believes that women are not equal to men and that they're second-class citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this award, and I look forward to lifting those Iron Curtains with you over the coming years. Thank you.